Let's get ready to rumble!
15 years as a pro. Fought Dillian White twice, Tyson Fury twice, Kevin Kingpin Johnson, Vitaly Klitschko, David Haye, Kubrat Pulev twice, Artur Spilka, Carlos Takam, Joseph Parker twice, Robert Helenius. 15 years as a pro. Nobody in the heavyweight division acted and has been in harder. He hasn't complained, oh, I've got to fight abroad. Hasn't complained once. He likes to get in there and have a fight. He's passed all his medicals, brain scans, no PED controversies. And now you guys want to say it's too dangerous for him? What about his right? What about what he wants? He's not entitled to live his life on his own terms? Without all you guys and, oh, Derek, shit. Listen, it's a face-slappable offence at this stage here. I don't care if you box or anything. Everybody claiming they're down with wokeness. They want to be this, they want to be that. I've got rights. You can't stop me from doing what I want to do and pursuing my happiness. This guy wants to box. He didn't say I want to box if I've got failed brain scans or failed medicals. I want to box because I'm training and I'm able to do so. The fact that he's boxed 15 years against the level of opposition he has and hasn't failed a brain scan, hasn't failed a medical, shows you he's not an ordinary athlete. No, he might not be elite. Yes, he might be a gatekeeper or whatever you want to call him, journeyman. But he's not your average athlete. Let him box. That's what he's supposed to do. Without boxing, Derek likely, as a black man in London, would have become a negative statistic in the system. And a negative one. Let him do what he's doing. And let's hear no more of your opinion. You've already voiced it. Derek isn't asking for government benefits. He's a self-employed man. He has to pay for his license. He has to pay his trainer. He has to pay his sparring partners. He has to pay for supplements, gym facilities. He has to pay, all of this comes out of his bottom end. He has to pay for rankings, sanctioning fees for belts. He has to pay all this out to box. And now you guys are literally telling him, take a pay cut, because it's too dangerous to fight Wilder. Derek's a prize fighter, and he wants the money. Let's not get this twisted. Derek might like boxing, but he wants the money. He likes the money. He likes the lifestyle. And you guys are telling him you can't have it because it's too risky. You think you know Derek Chisora, but you don't know Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora knows Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora knows what he can take from what he can't take and how long he can go for and how long he can't. It is serious. Let me get to the real part of it. Dave Chappelle said, don't ever come between a man and his meal. Because it's a dangerous game. You're playing with fire. Did you hear Derek in the interview? He's pissed off. And people in the comment section were pissed off with Derek because, oh, this is how he's talking to us now. We don't like the way he's talking to us. We're just showing our concern. Derek's saying, these people are doing nothing with their lives. They don't want to take no chances. And now they want to interfere with my life? And Dave Colwell, a really annoying dude. Like I said, Dave, you already voiced your opinion on the situation. Stop voicing your opinion on it now. And when the interviewer asked Derek on what Dave Colwell had to say about him not wanting Derek to fight Wilder and him wanting Derek to retire, Derek said, well, he lives in Sheffield, doesn't he? Look at him, he lives in Sheffield, which was a bizarre reply, but that's Derek. So maybe the only way he can get a lot of these people who are so concerned about him off his back is to start insulting them. Oh, I don't like being insulted, Derek. You don't like being insulted, you like telling people what to do. You're concerned about Derek, you're not concerned about the nurses working ungodly shift hours and have to go to food banks because the wages ain't covering all their necessities. You're not concerned about that. Or our frontline workers, whether that's police. And I'm talking about good police, not no corrupt police, armed forces. You're not concerned about the high crime rate or homelessness. You're concerned about Derek Chisora wanting to box a few more fights. I don't know if some of you know, but Derek is married. If Derek has emotional issues, he will go to his wife or his network of friends. He doesn't need you to mother him. And it's the problem with the internet. Some of you think your opinions are really that important. They're not that important like you think they are. They really ain't. Your priorities are all fucked up. You've got a generation of kids and adults who wake up every morning. I've got no purpose, no motivation. Derek wakes up. I've got to go gym because I'm looking to have another big fight on Sky or on DAZN. Derek has purpose to live. Do you? Look out for your own children. Look at your own marriage. Right? Look at your own community. Leave Derek Chisora alone. I'm not here to promote Jermaine Taylor's comeback if he wants to make a comeback. Or Punchy from the brain damage he suffered. I'm not here to talk about fighters who can't pass their brain scans or pass medicals. I'm not here to talk about that. The bottom line is, at this stage of boxing's journey, there are paramedics ringside, anaesthetists, doctors, ambulance provision. They have the allocated hospitals where the boxers will go if any mishaps happen in the ring to deal with neurological issues or brain injuries. That's as much as we can do. Once a boxer has passed all his stringent tests and is allowed in the ring and they've done all they can, everything else after that for all boxers is up for grabs. Because boxing is a dangerous sport. If we're going to start putting restrictions on one fighter and one match, doesn't make sense. And let's just stick with Deontay Wilder because he is dangerous. Very dangerous puncher. But if we're going to go down this line here, we're going to have to go for a list of boxers who should not be able to box Deontay Wilder. And Robert Helenius should be on it because he's no tougher or more durable than Derek, and neither is Adam Kaunacki or anyone else on the PBC who they've got lined up for Wilder to fight. Mind you, Wilder is coming off 2 brutal beatings and nobody even talks about that. Nobody even talks about that. Like he's just going to pick up from when he last won, was it against Luis Ortiz, and just keep doing what he's doing. You don't know what Wilder's coming back. Mind you, Luis Ortiz was on blood pressure meds. Old people take blood pressure meds. The Athletic Commission wasn't even concerned about him taking illegal substances. They were concerned about his health. Are you alright, man? You're on blood pressure meds. They were concerned about if he was okay or not. But yet, this was Wilder's toughest test, the fight you all wanted to see. What's the truth, though? Wilder could knock out Derek Chisora. Could also knock out Jared Anderson, who hasn't got as much miles on the clock and hasn't taken as much punches as Derek and is younger than Derek. Pritchard Colon, was he in his early 20s? He was one of the top prospects in the game. One fight. Left him in a vegetated state. Sorry to say it like that if that's incorrect use or insensitive use of language. But that's the truth. Same as Gerald McClellan, he was the most dangerous fighter in the world. Mini Mike Tyson. The underdog Nigel Benn ended his career. The man can't literally do any tasks for himself right now. He needs care 24/7. Maybe we should just ban boxing. This is a serious debate. It's not a joke debate. It's a serious debate. Because if someone who is passing their medicals, their brain scans, is fit and willing to go, if he can't take fights against certain opponents now, we have to look at the whole board. It's as simple as that. You can't just pitch people in there with Wilder, and because you don't have an attachment to them people, to say, yeah, that's okay, and he's just knocking them out, spark cold. But Derek can't get to do it. It's basically an irrational, imbalanced argument. It's not impartial. Never met Derek Chisora a day in my life, but I know I'm closer to the truth than what you are. Derek doesn't see himself as this victim who needs to get protected, and he doesn't like it either. It's making him uncomfortable. You can see it's making him really uncomfortable. He doesn't see Wilder how you guys see him. He sees him as another fighter. He knows the danger that Wilder possesses, but he doesn't see it like how you see it. He doesn't start shitting his drawers as soon as Wilder's name is mentioned. He's not you. It's important that young boxers, especially young British boxers like Kieran Conway, watch the circle of people that you walk amongst. Yeah? If they've got that scared energy, and I'm not saying you can just go out there reckless, not take caution against the dangers of certain opponents. I'm not saying that at all. You have to prepare diligently. But Kieran, he was on the video saying he's not scared of Austin Ammo Williams. I'm not scared of him. He said, of course he's taking the fight. And a lot of the British media and a lot of people surrounding it, for years, they've been making British fighters scared and shook and talking up Eastern Europeans and Americans, and you've lost already. Really, if you're going in there with that mentality, it's over for you. If you don't believe you can win, don't be hoping that some divine intervention is going to help you in the ring and get you the victory. Nah, you have to go in there looking to handle your business, to be a great boxer and avoid the majority of the punishment, or be a destroyer when need be and take your opponent out. You've got to be cold, clinical and ruthless. There's a paper trail of this talk from this country. If anyone thinks I'm making it up, from back in the 60s with Jim Wicks and Henry Cooper. Oh, well, won't let our Henry on the same side of the street as Sonny Liston. Shit, fucking scared. And didn't even have the sense to keep that quiet. Look at Billy Joe Saunders. I'll fight Golovkin if you give me a gun. And was literally trying to tell Chris Eubank Jr., you should be as scared as me. Billy quit against Canelo, and he would have quit if he had ever fought Triple G. He would have done the same thing. As soon as the pressure got too much, quit. Self-fulfilling prophecy. This country has this passive-aggressive way about it where people try and break your spirit very passive-aggressively. At least they're keeping Josh Kelly nice and busy. He last fought in May on Channel 5 and he's back next week on the 30th of July taking on an Argentinian named Lucas Brian Ariel Batista. 6'1", 18 wins, 10 stoppages, 1 loss, 1 draw. The 1 loss was a stoppage, but it was via a clash of heads, and the referee said he wasn't able to continue. So on paper, it looks like he could give Josh Kelly a test. Harlem Eubank, he's on the card. He takes on Tom Farrell from Liverpool. That's on Saturday next week. I'll go live on that one. Terrestrial boxing, free to air to anyone in the United Kingdom. Josh Kelly is from Sunderland. The fight will be held at the Virtue Motors Arena in Newcastle, not too far from Sunderland. Josh Kelly is saying he's here to make noise in the Northeast, and he wants a statement win against the Argentinian, a tough opponent, and he'll be happy to take on whoever wants it. Well, Troy Williamson being a pro-bellum fighter and them not having a broadcaster makes this one easy to make. The British Boxing Board of Control have ordered it for the British title that Troy currently occupies, and I want to see it. A lot of people want to see that fight. And Josh said if he defeats the Argentinian, a statement win. He wants to look at world-ranked opponents. Well, Troy Williamson is ranked with the sanctioning bodies. Number 7 with the WBO, number 9 with the IBF, number 10 with the WBA. So you're going to be held to that. That's the toughest domestic opponent at 154 you can find. There's no excuse. Easy fight to make. And Troy said he's hoping Josh Kelly will accept the challenge. That's what he said. He wants to fight. It's all on Josh Kelly and Adam Booth. I don't know what the odds were. I don't follow gambling like that. But Jack Catterall was an underdog against Josh Taylor. And in my pre-fight video, I spoke about motivational issues that could hamper Josh Taylor. The high of becoming a 4-belt undisputed champion being talked about in circles in the American boxing scene, worldwide and everything. Then the come down of having to come back to the UK and face Jack Catterall, someone who's supposed to roll over easy. In this article recently he said, I lacked motivation for Catterall. Won't make the same mistake twice. Now, Josh retained his belts and won, but it was very controversial. He was knocked down, I believe, for the first time in his career. Some people believe Catterall dominated, and I'm of the belief that he exceeded his expectations and done very well, and that didn't help how it looked for Josh Taylor. It was a close fight though. Not the best fight I've seen Josh Taylor in, but Catterall did his thing. This will be a different Josh Taylor. I said in my vid, which it felt like a lot of people quoted after, that you can't make yourself have the fear factor. Josh was saying all the right things. I'm not underestimating him. I'm expecting a tough battle. I'm expecting this and that. And I'm 100% prepared. We haven't looked past him. In the face-off, he appeared to have a lot of animosity for Catterall. But in a fight, you're expected to win, and expected to win easy. How easy is it to get up for it, really? Despite you looking angry at your opponent, you're in shape, and you're not underestimating him. How easy is it, really? Like I said, like you've experienced all them highs. 4-belt undisputed champion, won the 4 belts in America. Now you've got to fight Jack Catterall. There are highs and lows in life. There's a famous quote, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat both of them imposters the same. And that basically, how does that relate to what I'm saying here? It doesn't matter if it's a big occasion in boxing or a smaller occasion. You've got to perform each time, whether you're an underdog or a favourite. You've got to perform, and the W is optimum. Now, even if he'll be more motivated, he's still going to be tight at the weight. He's definitely tight at the weight. And that's going to be a factor, no matter how motivated he is. Now, he says he came into camp heavy last time and they made the weight all wrong, and they're going to make adjustments this time. Catterall no longer has the element of surprise on his side, and I believe this will be a better fight than the last one. Everything I discussed in my pre-fight video It's coming out. Even he's saying it. He says, I don't know if it was because I had been to Vegas, I just climbed Everest, I'm standing on top of the world, and my ambitions was to keep going, keep climbing, and move up to welter and chase a second world title fight. He's trying to work out why he couldn't get motivated. He says, I don't know why I wasn't motivated. He said he knew that it was a big mistake he was making. And it's coming out now. You see, everything I said, he's actually saying he told Ben Davison 4 or 5 times in camp, I can't get up for this fight. Now, I'm glad he's taking the fight. It's going to be an excellent fight because there's still things he's overlooking. He can talk about he done the weight wrong, he wasn't motivated, he told Ben this and that, he wasn't up for the fight. He can say all that. But Jack Catterall is going to want to prove that this wasn't a one-off. Jack Catterall has been studying Josh Taylor since 2019 when the fight was supposed to happen first. He knows everything Josh Taylor was going to do. If Josh Taylor goes into the rematch thinking that his lackluster performance was just down to his fumbling the weight, so to speak, or he wasn't motivated, and it had nothing to do with Catterall's ability and the fact that he's had so long to study what Josh can do, it's going to be a similar struggle. It will be a similar struggle. Because now he's going to go from demotivated to maybe a little deluded. I'll be looking to see if there's any information why Anthony Joshua's fights have been taken off Sky, off their YouTube channel. I think there may be a couple left. AJ himself uploaded the Kubrat Pulev and Alexander Usyk fights on his own personal YouTube channel. I'm not going to speculate, but since Joshua left Sky to go to DAZN, things have got a little strange. You have to ask why Sky would outbid DAZN to get the Usyk-Joshua fight when they have no options on either fighter. Not unless they're planning to sign Usyk, hoping he beats AJ. I don't get it. So I don't want to speculate, but maybe they didn't have sole rights to them fights. Maybe Joshua has ownership or part ownership of his fight film. Maybe that was part of the deal when he signed with Sky. I don't know. I've never seen them remove any other fighters' fights from the YouTube channel. Never seen them do that. There's still some fights left there. You see, Joshua, Matchroom, I don't know. Maybe they may have a deal where they have ownership of them fights and they can sell or at least lease a lot of that catalog to DAZN in the new deal. Maybe DAZN have acquired them in the new deal. I don't know. There's so many possibilities, you know. We're dealing with royalties here, publishing and licensing. This is long money. That's what you call long money. That's generational wealth, them films. Because somebody looking to do a documentary may want some film footage. And if they pay either Joshua or Matchroom or DAZN, they can get it. They don't get to keep the film footage, but they can use it for that project there. Most fighters who sign contracts to the television networks are so far behind the 8 ball in earning potential, they don't get to that part of the discussion when they're negotiating the contract. But AJ, we're talking a different level there. Have Sky actually announced they're putting the pay-per-view on? It seems strange, like everyone's announced it, but they haven't announced it. Not saying they're not going to broadcast it, it seems obvious now, but have they actually announced it on their website or on any Sky Sports programming? What are they waiting for? It looks like Sky are going to broadcast it, but it's a Matchroom card. Anyone else find it funny that the first fighter they introduce on the undercard is not a Matchroom fighter, Badu Jack, who did have a situation with Pro Bellum? He said it was only a one-fight deal, but he has been on their website, and Sky did make all Pro Bellum fighters sign a waiver that they have no dealings with MTK or Daniel Kinahan. First person Eddie puts on there. So, I don't know, maybe there is a little tension about the bidding war and them currently competing with each other. It seems pretty hostile between Eddie, Ben Shalom and Frank Warren. Seems a bit hostile. The Sowlands have managed to keep out of the beef so far, but it won't be long until they're embroiled in it as well. You know, Callie's got that temper. Eddie will do well to remember that a lot of us who are going to purchase that pay-per-view also have DAZN subscriptions. Hopefully he'll show us a little courtesy and not try and fuck up the undercard for Sky, because if he does that to them, he fucks it up for us as well. Listening to a Shane McGuigan interview, very interesting insight. Remember there was that period, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where Mikey Garcia was kept on the sidelines by Bob Arum, and Andre Ward had the situation with Goose and Tuta, and they were kept on the sidelines. Whatever their disputes were with the respective promoters or their contracts, not allowed to carry out their trade. And in relation to Lawrence Okolie and what he's going through right now with Matchroom and Eddie, he's got one fight left on the contract, but he wants out, obviously. Well, Shane was saying he could return and have that last fight near the end of the year, or he might buy his way out of the contract and not fight for DAZN or Matchroom or Eddie. I don't know how much that's going to cost him. I'm assuming it's not going to be that cheap. But if Sky are willing to foot the bill, then it's something Okolie might consider. But regardless on what happens with that situation between Matchroom and Okolie, Okolie will not be kept on the sidelines because he's in contract with Matchroom. The British Boxing Board of Control, according to Shane McGuigan, override any attempt from a promoter or a network shelving you. They allow you to carry out your trade and earn. But there will still likely be legal ramifications. Because if Okolie appears on a Sky card, let's say late this year, and is still contracted to Matchroom, Matchroom will still do a resolution for that one fight Okolie has left on the contract. But Okolie won't be kept on the sidelines. That's interesting. Something that American boxers should be looking into, perhaps.
Cause it's the game, boy, you can't do work. Molly, please tell us his name. Duck alert.
Was it last year that the WBO ordered Demetrius Andrade to fight JANIBEK? Well, it looks like their patience has run out and now they're ordering the mandate or reordering it. And he probably has a few days or maybe hours to accept the challenge. JANIBEK has the interim 160-pound belt. They're talking about Andrade might head over to the PBC, actually. I saw that on Free Kings Boxing. Well, he's since left Matchroom when the fight was first ordered. But I don't think he wants the JANIBEK fight. He's not shown any interest in it. And do I think he's scared of JANIBEK? I just think it's the motivation thing. And I gave him a pass to try and find a more marquee name to get in the ring. But he hasn't been able to get Munguia in the ring. He's ranked number 1. And he won't fight JANIBEK, but he's still maintaining that number 1 ranking. Chris Eubank Jr. is ranked number 2. Now, JANIBEK is talking about he's going to knock Andrade out. Andrade's been sidelined with a shoulder injury, which postponed the Zach Parker fight. He was supposed to move up to 168 and fight for the vacant WBO belt there. Now, he's shown up in the media today calling out Chris Eubank. But Chris Eubank appears to have a fight in play against Conor Benn. Why is he calling out Eubank and why now? Why is he not addressing the issue at 160? Are you going to take on JANIBEK or are you going to drop the belt? Are you going to try and reschedule this Zach Parker fight? What's happening there? Eubank is not a mandatory. They've ordered him to fight JANIBEK. If he fights Eubank, it's not going to be for the WBO 160-pound title. They're going to strip him. Is he looking for some type of extension or something? He's talking about Eubank was offered $1 million or pounds for the fight. By the time Conor Benn and Eubank sell out the O2 and do upwards from 500,000 pay-per-view buys at the least, I would suggest, he's going to clear well over $1 million. Over 2 or 3, I would have thought. Looks like Demetrius is a little desperate to get out of his situation. He doesn't want to look like he's running from JANIBEK. He doesn't want that on his resume, surely not. Triple G wouldn't unify with him. Canelo wouldn't unify with him. Charlo wouldn't unify with him. Munguia won't take his shot. He hasn't literally been able to get anyone apart from JANIBEK willing to face him. Anyone with any marquee value is not going in the ring with him because he's risk reward. And he sees JANIBEK as risk reward. Now, I'm a fan of Demetrius Andrade. He's my man, 100 grand and all that. But this week, you get the duck alert beat.
Cause it's the game, boy, you can't do work. Molly, please tell us his name. Duck alert.